I guess that could work too. But okay. Hello. Bueno. We're on. See, weird. I can see that. Okay. That was about reflections. Not at all important. I am here today to have this as a precursor to a topic that I'm going to label the feminine ego. I am titling this Le Fermenter a Remojar, and when initially taking notes for this topic, the word submersion, temperature, and after, well, after commemorative was a tying point or a keyword of a sidebar for my last video that I don't know if I fully remembered because I didn't watch it. I've been a little bit busy with work, and that's not an excuse in any way. I have been. This also is an homage to, or submersion. Arremojar. Arremojar means to soak, so that's also a euphemism. But uh, my new job has been in kitchen, or my last two workplaces have been in kitchen. It's been a lot, a lot of different things. I've never been brought to the point of tears in a workplace, and in the last two times I have been here, or in a kitchen. Well, okay, so the last three times I've been in a kitchen, it's been an emotional roller coaster, but an also uh, a prized wealth of honest people, and I can't replace that. That's what I really want to point out. I would never have wanted to be in another workplace or have done different things. All of these jobs have shaped me in being a person, in the person that I am. It kind of, it did, it forced me. Oh my God, the light, the sun. That's why I needed to record so fast. It did create some stress tissue. I would say scars, but I didn't bleed, so I didn't work that hard. And we do what is difficult. We do what is difficult for many different reasons. Yet, sorry, for many similar outcomes. Yet we carry different reasons. And I was talking to my neighbor actually about this, and how, well, this is tying to ego, specifically ego and the body. So somebody's image of self, and then ego or reality of self, I guess. So I related an ego to planets, and how a planet's gravity and mass are generally relative. And when those are out of sync, there's an irregularity or an isotope of some sort that is forming or has an ability to cultivate or for cultivation. And so, in the idea of ability and cultivation, I have been listening to a Thai Buddhist monk, um, by the name of CHAH, Ajahn. And one thing that he said a few things. There's like over 80 um, clips, and I should probably tag a few of the ones that actually had um, impact on me. I was initially searching for a word that had come to mind, or a word that felt familiar, by the name or the title of dukkha, And I think that's actually what the YouTube channel is called, but it's previous uploads that may have taken previously. I don't know. I can't say that. And it is of a translator and a monk that were just having documented speech, very similar to the Watercourse Way by Alan Watts, translated by, I think it's like, I don't want to say the wrong name because that's so disrespectful, but I think it was like Leah Shang or something like that. I think Alan Watts had his last days or something in that book, or they were I have to reread that. But the Watercourse Way is a documentation of final thoughts and a living word or a living style that is to be repeated like a book or like a text, studied like a text. His lifestyle had oh my god, I've been living his lifestyle. Okay, that's cool. His lifestyle encompassed a layer of gratitude and poise to have an ability or bring yourself to want to create and like almost need to create. And in that, you search within yourself by observing what is created. So many of our cultural icons of this generation utilize technology in order to have this ability we utilize technology and then we undervalue the producers and the integral parts of said technology that makes it valuable. There I go, lacking again. I almost didn't press record and I would have been so pissed off. So Ajahn, sorry, I said that the wrong way. We strive to reach wisdom in old age as wise eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and mind create a world less to despair. He predecessed this by saying a lot of the world, I don't know if if it was him or Paul, the translator, that was saying this, that a lot of the worlds around us do have a dispensable nature to them. And it did make he's used different modes of conveying this, that if you don't do the work of carrying the pails, you won't enjoy the water. And that's honest. That's very realistic, and I've had different images or renditions of having to carry this principle, where we also have similarity is anything in extremity is worth caution. That's a paraphrasing of his words. He believes love and hate are as parallel as their desire allows them, as like allowance for desire. Again, another paraphrasation, which I agree with. I've always the first one, the anything in extremity is worth caution, had been something that I've believed for the last 2 years at minimum. I do very much remember writing that while I was still working in retail, where I did see this wear over this, like, so I wrote I don't even know what word that's not even that important, but wear as in wear of clothing, and then wear as in like the wear down of clothing. I wrote that over each other as a division. So this time when I was working in retail had shown me a differing in perspective of people, where some were appearing in my place of work for deals or whatever, like, to say the least. And I, being in said place of work, having access to perks, I guess. I don't have a better word for that. But the way that I would view this item or these items was different based on my ability and access to them. So people would come in and be talking about shoes and stuff and things and that, and then, like, the way that I would talk about shoes would be like, well, when they wear out, I just throw them away, or I just use them for this, or I just use them for a different thing, and, like, I just grab a new one. And that caught people off guard. It even caught me off guard, because it showed that I had this ability to be a free flowing person that, like, doesn't care about things. And I enjoyed my time there. Like, I really enjoyed doing what I was doing, yet it seemed like the people that I was doing it for didn't always want me to be in enjoyment for what I was accomplishing. So I say that in where we are looking to have something of status that we protect, or we wear something to then degrade, so we don't have a fear of status, or like, because we don't have a fear of status. I was watching Good Will Hunting today, which was recommended to me by my cousin a long time ago. I didn't know why, and I really now believe it was for the pure reason that he believes that is kind of me, or, like, in some way. Um, that kid's an orphan. So, yeah. Um, Gear and guard. Another duality. We're talking about the. Well, I think I had one more thing that I was gonna roll past. Oh. So with where, growing up is accepting the potential to wear. So he denotes Buddhism as a a personal escape, or a personal pursuit of being a scientist. And he speaks about Dharma specifically in that. How. Ooh, that's a different one. How he would notice the wear in, like, I believe in, or I think that's where I assumed connection, where my obsessive compulsion of wear was almost endearing to a point of limitation. And I don't need to be as obsessively compulsed for the idea of wear, especially if I'm living in the reality that is abundance. A while back, before I had gone to move away, I was working on the idea of abundance, or living in abundance, before external figures found their way to derail. And I think that there are dualities in a lot of existence. Like, you have to be without something to need it. There's a psychological terminology, I guess, or like a not a paradox, but without something when you're without something for a long time or a majority of your life and haven't exactly had the stimulation to it, you will be finding it in other places or searching to replace it at some point in your life. The video that I had last made was talking about male archetypes and how those figures do have the potential to create or destroy a figure and a person. So, like that, every event becomes a larger stage. So, if you don't have the smaller stages, it's a little bit more difficult to assimilate or find the gratification that came from those smaller stages. So, you look to make a larger stage of one that is not necessarily any to begin with. At this moment in the video, I hope that everybody is having a great day, a great week. I've been accepting more stress. uh, I guess in the perfectionism world that I've come up in, I've only ever tried to re I almost want to say reimburse, but repeat what I've seen, and my young mind was less adept to appreciating all good works are just renditions of practice that preceded. So I wrote in this as well that so gear and guard and being another duality, where gear is the physical. So it's like the kit versus killer debate on the court. So somebody could be rocked out, can't make a shot. Somebody could be missing all game, make the game winner. Like it doesn't matter. It just matters. Like the only one that matters is the one that matters. So gear and guard was the idea that I had when I was watching a video of shoes or carbon fiber based shoes and how the material and the lay of them created a vastly better material for energy transfer. I would say absorption, but no, it's transfer because shoes transfer. Those are springs to say anything less. So duality in existence. Gear and guard. Guard is the the encompassing of it all. It's the Rousey household of it. And I can't speak to that. I can't. I'm not like many. I didn't know that. I have a family. I have people to protect. I have people that I love. I have those who care for me. I just didn't know that I didn't accept them or let them in as much as I could have. And I've been getting better at it. I truly have. Those that I did bring in closer did not see my improvement or saw more degradation than anything. I don't have any ill will towards them despite any mind that may occur. My my attempts to explain have have expressed futile, and I'm less fertile as the days go. I guess very similar to a lot of my not co-inhabitants, co interests, I guess. Um, I want to finish this by talking again about gaslighting women or women gaslighting. For men and women, it feels like women have a celebration of femininity, and where it is made out to be disgusting early, it's celebrated later, and then the tables turn. There's no other way of looking at that. In that regard, societally as well, we look at the male scape and see that most actions of being masculine are not shunned, but do get pushed under, swept under the rug. You would never sweep it by somebody's feet, and there's a reason for that. You're you don't want to test somebody that you know you shouldn't test in front of them, but you have no integrity to do so in any other place, or if you actually had that archetypal figure to really ask the question. A lot of people are really about not standing with cops or military or things of that nature. And I don't even know anybody myself that doesn't. It could be a lot more, news and media or whatever that is on that. I've spent more time talking to these types of people to understand that they're really just looking to have a job. There's nothing wrong with that. You can't be angry at somebody for doing so. It's just, I know for myself, I'm colorblind and blind, so I have glasses. So for army, that's not great, or armed forces, not ideal. For police, I don't fully believe I'd be given equal grounds. So in terms of the equality rather than equity, I think that I would do very well. It's just my equity would be high entering, and then because of that, I would be placed in a ball pit of equality. So I didn't have too much interest in doing so. Uh, yeah, again, in the relationship or the interplay between both gender roles, it seems like women have freedoms that are, I can't even speak to them and say that they're shamed or celebrated, but from what women have told me, it does have some nodes of in group, whereas a gender is then created as an out group. Like, women are supposed to be caring and have foresight for people they understand. Yet, it seems like women or new age women are less interested in caring for someone because they have to care for themselves. And as a person that's only ever cared for myself or tried to, um, I needed to learn how to love myself rather than care for myself, which was a different scope or set of lenses. I think that between men and women, the actions that are placed over either archetype or either figure could be seen as malicious or insightful, yet they're only ever seen as predatory when coming from men. And if a male is going to say no, then it's met with a discourse that's very high in body shaming or poking at pride, as if it's like wrong to have something to stand for. And like I didn't want to bring this in the last video, but like there was a time at a party. We're just gonna have a story time because I just wanted to share this. We had a time at a party where my buddy Nate, oh man, I'm not supposed to say his name, had lost his hat, and there was a girl that had come with her friends, and she had felt like she was in a safe place and such. And I would never say that she wasn't in a safe place. She was in a cool place. We were having fun. We were at my friend's house. She knew all of us. We had all gone to school together. And we had all been drinking, having a good time. My buddy had somehow lost his hat. His what a whiskey barrel or whatever thing. And this girl had found a young woman telling a impressionable male that kind of, again, males don't always have attention. Women are the celebrated figure in society that does get attention. So when I do hear somebody like Madeline speak and say that I don't know how, as a man, you being a person that has synapses that mirror or are identical to Albert Einstein, and you would use them to feed yourself or cheat. Um, I think Albert Einstein was also like a very sought after male. So that's an irrelevant argument. Uh, and then to add to that argument, I did think when I was watching that not everybody does have the same synaptic principle baseline. There's variability among birth defect or inhibition due to malnutrition, um, lack of sleep care, specifically in the psychosocial realm. If you're less adept, again, to a certain stimulus, the potential for said stimulus to become an issue later is greater. That is also why said people who are in a safer upbringing have more of a potential to create a dependency or a um, an inequality to some kind of stimulus that is not a substance. That was a mouthful. I'm sorry. And this is probably why she wanted to. Okay, she told me let's go look in the living room, and then she's like, let's go look in Nate's car. And I was supposed to say his name again. So then we go out to the car, and she opens the door. First of all, I'm supposed to open the door, so check yourself. But so she opens the door, and then she crawls in, and then she's like, "Come in, let's look for it." I'm a couple drinks in, okay? I'm a couple drinks in right now, and I s- I'm not gonna say what we did, but I should have done more. Nobody was looking for us, and then we came back in to a room of people that stopped looking for the hat, by the way. Ended up looking for us, I guess, because they hadn't seen us in a minute. We walk in through the side door to a backyard full of people that are just like, like and then I turn the corner into the room from this backyard of people, and it's on the fridge. It's right there. It's just on the left. So I'm like, if I found this and took it in the car, you guys wouldn't have had anything to do. And then you guys would have been looking for two things. Like that's what I think of now. But like, come on, man. Yeah. So, ooh, um, one thing that I'd read on here too, that I think it was again parallel. I viewed money before as something that was bad, and yet that's not a great ideal. More in the reasoning that as a creator, I can't or I couldn't bring myself to speak about money exclusively as a facet of my personality. And now, moving forward, okay. So to pair with that, as a as a as an avid ganja consumer or toker over here, we don't. I don't want that to be a part of my personality the same way that some alcoholics do refuse to admit that drinking is a part of their personality. I can't see money as a bad thing if I'm not in it, I guess. It's the eye of the storm debate that I was talking to my mom about this. I can't get after somebody or have a perception of someone that is high paying or does have a lot of money. Oh, okay. I can't be, or I can't like, well, yeah, I can't be mad, first of all, but more like I can't assume this person went into a profession for the reason to attain income or have status. Yet, by also learning more from my mom, I've seen that it's specifically in this Western world, despite any type of role, um, for whatever reason, a person is still going to search for status and hold their reason for hierarchy. And that makes for a very tough work environment, to say the least. In the same way that when you're walking into um, a varsity team and it's already an established group, when you're walking into a kitchen and it's a family or it's a clique or it's just a unit, it's difficult to find your way in, yet you shouldn't feel bad if you're not irreplaceable, because that's also searching for too much in an environment or in a place. I hope that any of this was insightful. I did want to make this somewhat quicker. I felt like the last one ran on a little bit too much, and there was less research that had gone into this. I'm hopeful about where these next ones are gonna go, but feminine ego, don't know how I want to approach that. I would like to start by talking to more women. um, yeah, so we'll see. For you shut the up. When you're without something, like it literally doesn't even sound good. Found the right in said chaos of a bunch of drunken people to pull this young drunken male away and told me that let's go check out here, or let's go check in the living room, and then let's go outside. Oh no, that means it's gonna stop.